Today in our 2017 Toyota RAV4, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13149. So here's what our hitch is going to look like once we have it installed. Our cross tube is going to be visible. It's going to sit right below our bumper, but it's not going to distract from any of the looks of our RAV4. It is a Class 3 hitch, which means it's going to give us that 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube opening, and it has that reinforced collar giving it added strength and just an overall nice finished clean look. Since it is a Class 3, it's going to have a wide variety of accessories available for it, and the way we're going to mount those is this hitch pinhole right here. It is going to accept a standard 5/8 pin and clip. They're not included, but you can pick them up on our website using part number PC3. The safety chain connection points are going to be a loop style, welded to the bottom of the receiver tube, and as you can see, we're not going to have too much trouble getting most size hooks on or off, but you do want to keep in mind about the connection point for your hitch pin. It is going to be right in line with those safety chain loops. So if you are using a locking device, just keep in mind the clearance issues you may have. As far as weight's concerned, our hitch is going to feature a 525-pound tongue weight, along with a 3,500-pound gross trailer weight rating. Now it is designed to work with weight distribution systems as well. Now the tongue weight's going to stay the same on that, but the gross trailer weight rating is going to jump up to 4,000 pounds. Now with all that in mind, you do want to always double check your vehicle's owner's manual and make sure that you never exceed the manufacturer's recommended weight. I'd like to give you a few measurements that's going to help you when deciding for accessories for your new hitch, such as a ball mount, bike rack, or even a cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pinhole to the outermost edge of the bumper, that's going to be right about 5 inches. And from the ground to the inside top edge of the receiver tube opening, that's going to be right about 13 inches. So now that we've seen what our hitch looks like and gone over some of the features, let's show you how to get it installed. To begin our installation, you're going to come to the back of your RAV4, and we're going to come over on the driver's side, and we're going to have this plastic panel that we're going to have to remove. Now if we move right behind the tire and right behind the rear axle here, we're going to have a 10mm nut that we're going to have to pull off. So you're going to grab a 10mm socket and we can pull that off. Now towards the back of the bumper, we're going to have 2 pushpin fasteners that are holding it in as well. So you can grab a flathead screwdriver or trim panel tool, and you'll notice that there's 2 small notches on the pushpins. You're going to take your screwdriver, you're going to pop out the center section. That's going to take the tension off, and then you can pop out the outer ring on the pushpin and remove it all the way. And with all those fasteners removed, we can pull the panel down and set it aside. Now underneath that panel, we're going to have our fasteners that are holding our tie-down hook on. So you're going to want to grab a 17mm socket so we can remove these 2 bolts. And our tie-down hook is not going to be reinstalled. Now over on the passenger side, right where the muffler is, if we come to the outside, we're going to have this rubber isolator with a hanger on it. I'm going to take a little bit of spray lubricant and I'm going to spray the hanger down because we are going to have to slide those off. I'm just going to take a pry bar and use the muffler to pry against, and I'm going to slide that rubber isolator off of the hanger. I'm going to take a little bit more of that spray lubricant and I'm going to spray it in the forwardmost bolt hole and the rearmost bolt hole. And I'm going to take a nylon brush. I'm going to clean them out and make sure there's no dirt, debris, or any kind of rust in there. That way our bolts will go in and they won't have to worry about cross-threading or getting anything stuck on them. And we're going to do that for the other side, for the other 2 mounting locations. Now before we put our hitch in place, I want to go over the hardware that we're going to be using. Our kit's going to have some M12 bolts and some conical tooth washers. When we put the washers on the bolt, you want to make sure that those teeth on there are going to be facing towards the hitch. We can raise our hitch into position and bolt it up. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to raise our hitch. You're going to want to go over the exhaust and raise it into position, lining up the holes with the weld nuts in the frame. Then we can take that bolt and conical tooth washer. We're going to loosely install at least 1 on each side so we don't have to worry about the hitch falling down. So it'll support itself, and then we can get the rest of our hardware in place. I'm going to come back with a 19mm socket and snug up all my hardware. So I'm going to come back with that 19mm socket and a torque wrench, and I'm going to torque all my hardware down. Now we're going to find that specification in our instructions. And be sure to repeat that for all of your remaining hardware. With our hitch all torqued down, we can lift our exhaust back up and slide it back onto the rubber isolator. So that panel that's on our driver's side, you do have the option to leave it off, but per the instructions we're going to trim it. And if we come right to this outer mounting location, there's going to be a rib that we're going to follow down. And I already made a rough mark on there. Just going to follow along that rib, and then we're going to cut straight over, and we're going to be removing this section right here. Now I'm just going to be using a pair of tin snips. It is just plastic, so you can use whatever you have available, even if it is just a utility knife. Just want to take your time and try to use that rib right here as a guide when you start cutting across. Now we can test fit it to make sure that we did trim enough off and that we can clear the hitch and get the panel back in place. So we can lift the panel back up, and we can see that all the mounting holes line back up, so we're not going to have to worry about any interference from our hitch right here. So take those push pins, and with the center still popped out, we're going to push them back in place and then push the center in to lock it down. And we can thread that nut back in place as well. And that'll finish up your look at the CURT Class 3 Custom Fit Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number C13149 on our 2017 Toyota RAV4.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com. And leave us a comment if you have any questions.